up, Canada City volunteers held their first winter aid distribution in Langley Township. In an in-depth report, we learned the negative impact marine debris has on our ecosystem and marine life. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Wendy Chen. Thank you for joining us. We kick off today's program in Canada. City volunteers held their first ever winter aid distribution for the homeless in Langley Township of Metro Vancouver. Besides city volunteers, the mayor and councillor of the township also arrived to show their support and were deeply moved by the Buddhist NGO's work in helping the needy worldwide. The average temperature during winter in Canada is usually 5 degrees below zero. To ensure those in need have the means to get through the harsh weather, city volunteers are holding a winter aid distribution in Langley Township.
It is 6 degrees below zero outside, and I'm freezing already. What about the homeless? They just want a jacket to keep warm. I think our society needs everyone to contribute their love.
As this is the first time City is handing out winter jackets and daily necessities to the homeless, besides volunteers, the mayor and a city councillor also arrived to show their support.
Today you're providing warm jackets and some much needed supplies for people who just don't have everything that we all have, and I really appreciate what you do, and I'm happy to help volunteer. I even have on the volunteer vest, and it's really a joy to be with you.
Cold day, although it's very bright outside, it's about 5 degrees below zero. We are pleased to be here with this Sitche. Thank you very much for this opportunity, and I wish the foundation very well. Thank you kindly.
The Salvation Army in Langley regularly provides meals to solitary seniors and low-income families. Sharing a similar philosophy, the Salvation Army teams up with Tzu to organize the event.
In the Bible, it talks about it is better to give than to receive. It's about giving hope and love. One of the tenets of Scripture is about faith, hope, and love, and out of that comes compassion. And so it's very similar to what the Tzu Buddhist Foundation is doing today for us.
With their aid supplies in hand, some of the homeless write down their gratitude and hope for the coming new year.
They don't have a home, and that's all they want. It is such a simple thing for us, yet impossible for them. In distributions like this, all we can do is lend our time and understanding so that they have someone to talk to.
Following Super Typhoon Haiyan in the Philippines, the City Foundation has launched several Cash for Work programs around the disaster areas to help the survivors get back on their feet. And to make sure students can continue on with their education, City decided to build prefabricated classrooms at the Tunga Central Elementary School. In our next report, we meet 28-year-old Cash for Work program participant George, who says that his encounter with the charity organization has changed his perspective on life.
Traveling to the Tunga Central Elementary School in the Philippines, today a team of volunteers is ready to build prefabricated classrooms on campus.
Okay,
This is Tzu volunteer Yang Guoying, who not only specializes in the heavy machinery trade, but is also a member of the construction team at the Tzu Philippines chapter.
昨天那个会的那个要跟过来，再找几个，不是他现在这个是10个是帮忙的，那明天还要来学的那些要再过来。
Meanwhile, at the Tunga Central Elementary School, students are more determined than ever to continue on with their studies. Other than building prefabricated classrooms, Yang Guoying also sees a chance to visit the students. Touched by the children's determination to pursue their education, Yang can no longer hold back his tears.
We need to hurry up and finish building these prefabricated classrooms as soon as possible. This is the spirit of Tzu. We are currently short on volunteers because many are helping out at aid distributions or Cash for Work programs.
To speed up the building process, a Cash for Work program was launched in the area. Joining the program are 5 staff members of the Tzu Manila chapter and 10 local residents.
不用紧张。对，是很晃。对，老对了，老对。
At first it was a bit chaotic because of language barrier, but the Tzu Chi brothers are very nice. I'm very thankful that they are here to teach us how to build these buildings. I still can't believe that we can build such beautiful buildings with some nails and boards.
20-year-old George used to make a living by driving a trishaw, which earned him approximately $14 per day.
The pay that I receive from driving my motorcycle is more than what I'm getting from Tzu Chi's Cash for Work program. But now I can spend more time with my family. Before I was just earning money for my family, but by working with Tzu Chi, I can help others too.
George's 2 children are currently studying at the Tunga Central Elementary School and Tunga National High School. Therefore, he knows that building these prefabricated classrooms can not only help his children, but also the next generation.
I told my friend that we need to make sure these prefabricated classrooms are sturdy enough because they will not only be used by our children, but also the generations ahead.
Since joining Tzu Chi's Cash for Work program, George and his friend will ride his motorcycle to the construction site at the Tunga Central Elementary School on a daily basis.
We are very lucky that Tzu Chi is here helping us rebuild these classrooms.
Thanks to Tzu Chi's Cash for Work program, participants not only have the means to rebuild their homes, but also reclaim their confidence and dignity.
From receiving Tzu Chi's consolation cash to working together with the volunteers, I've realized that Tzu Chi is such a heartwarming organization. Tzu Chi is different. The volunteers care for our children's education. Tzu Chi's love has helped us rebuild our homes and lives.
Moving to China, Tzu Chi's work in Hubei province began as early as 1994, and the Buddhist NGO's affinity with Wuhan Children's Welfare Center was formed more than a decade ago. However, it wasn't until 2009 that Tzu Chi volunteers began promoting the charity foundation in the city of Wuhan. Next, we find out how volunteers have, through study groups and Jingsi aphorisms, successfully called on many new bodhisattvas to join their ranks. At the study group, which meets every Wednesday night in Wuhan, Hubei, in addition to first-timers, is Wan Ziyang, who is here for the 7th time.
There is no religious, ethnic, or race difference in Tzu Chi. This is an organization that needs everyone to contribute their love.
Though it takes 1.5 hours to travel from his workplace to the study group, 24-year-old Wan Ziyang is happy to make the trip.
For a while,
we didn't have many participants, so we began to think of ways of attracting others to join, and so they could get to know Tzu Chi. In October 2012, a group of us visited teacher Mei Yun in Kaohsiung and realized study groups can be fun and interesting.
In fact, the study group in Wuhan began some 4 years ago, and it was not until volunteers came across some challenges that things took a turn.
We have many first-time participants in our study groups, and some don't even know what Tzu Chi is, so what do we talk to them about? It has to be kept simple. We try to create a warm and loving atmosphere.
Tzu Chi volunteer Liu Ming takes it upon herself to create a family-like atmosphere through such study groups.
Here I am free of worries because I don't have to worry about what to say or do.
When I told my father-in-law that I had joined Tzu Chi, he heard the word Tzu Chi and told me to do whatever I liked. I am truly grateful.
Similar to study groups, those who show up at the Wuhan Retreat Center are mainly young volunteers.
First of all, I hope that everyone will take Tzu Chi to heart, and I also hope that this will become a training ground for our bodhisattvas.
Today, Wuhan Tzu Chi volunteers are on a special mission.
拿一本放进去，放在床头的那个。那我还是放这边。
By working with hotels, City volunteers get to placing aphorism volumes in hotel rooms in an effort to call on new bodhisattvas to join their ranks. Did you know that land-based discharge of human-made debris comprises the largest source of marine debris in oceans worldwide? And in the center of the Pacific Ocean is a gyre of marine debris known as the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. The surface area of the patch is estimated to be 39 times the size of Taiwan and is characterized by exceptionally high concentrations of plastics. Let's find out more in our next report.
The 18-meter-tall yellow rubber duck has stirred up the duck craze worldwide. However, its first association with the sea was plastic pollution. In 1992, a shipping crate from Hong Kong containing 29,000 plastic ducks was lost at sea when it fell overboard on its way to the United States. 19,000 bobbed their way to Indonesia and Australia, and the other 10,000 washed up on the shores of England 15 years later. No one at the time could have guessed that the bath toys would still be floating on the world's oceans nearly 20 years later.
Taiwan produces the equivalent of 2,000 rubber ducks of plastics in one day. Therefore, we really want to emphasize the serious environmental consequences this has and to encourage the general public to be more vigilant in their use of plastics.
Unbiodegradable plastic alone can contribute to marine pollution. In order to grasp the complexity of ocean currents and where marine debris ends up, Japanese Professor Shigeru Fujieda used cigarette lighters to track marine trash movement. Using the same method, the Kuroshio Ocean Education Foundation director, Zhang Taidi, stumbled upon a lighter from 1997, which commemorated the return of Hong Kong to China.
The Kuroshio current begins off the east coast of Taiwan, and from the South China Sea, it flows past Korea and Japan, carrying heaps of garbage northwards. As a result, we often find many Taiwanese manufactured cigarette lighters in Japan and vice versa.
Situated 5,000 kilometers away from Taiwan, albatrosses that inhabit the Midway Islands are eating plastic which has been dumped into the oceans, mistaking it for food. As many as 200,000 albatrosses die each year from mistakenly consuming plastic, and 80% of the cigarette lighters they have ingested come from Taiwan or China.
The rubbish in our oceans travels with the wind and ocean currents and ends up in various parts of the world. Currently, there are 5 oceanic gyres which made up of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, and situated closest to Taiwan is the North Pacific Gyre. If estimates are true, this is where most of the garbage will eventually end up.
As the world's largest landfill, experts say that the North Pacific Gyre has already collected more than 7 million tons of garbage, with a surface area 39 times the size of Taiwan. And most of the debris is made up of small plastic particles suspended just below the surface of the ocean. What about the other waters? Having spent 3 months in the North Pole to conduct marine biology research, Liao Yunji discovered much frozen waste in the Arctic Ocean. On another expedition in the Philippines in 2008, while trawling 2,000 meters deep to conduct biological research, Liao was stunned by what he captured in their nets.
When we pulled the trawl up onto the deck, we discovered that apart from rubbish, there was nothing else. It was all just rubbish.
Our ocean currents have carried undegradable waste across the world, hugely impacting the survival of the aquatic ecosystem and other sea organisms. Once this waste finds its way into marine life and into our food chain, can you imagine the consequences it will have on our health?
As consumers nowadays are more aware of what goes into their stomach, organic food has also become increasingly popular. With Taiwan's organic tea farming industry flourishing, today we take a look at the origin of Tzu Chi's signature tea products and meet organic tea farmer Chen Zhongho to see how he managed his organic tea field by living in harmony with nature.
This is tea farmer Chen Zhongho, who is busy working in his tea field in Miaoli Shanyi for the upcoming harvest. Chen solely grows organic tea at his 28-hectare tea farm, which is also the origin of Tzu Chi's signature tea products. As these tea leaf pickers are busy plucking and chit-chatting, the tea farm is invariably filled with limitless vitality. Before they stop plucking tea leaves each harvest season, Chen would first sweep over the plants with both hands to assess their maturity.
If the tea leaves are spongy, they are not yet ready to be picked. However, if they become less spongy, you have to pick them within 2 or 3 days.
Insistent on using organic methods to grow his tea trees, Chen's tea farm was once ravaged by pests and insects.
Following the spring harvest in 2010, I found that each tea tree was overwhelmed by hundreds of caterpillars. I didn't encounter such a situation before, and I didn't know what to do.
Since using pesticides is not an option, Chen decided to leave them alone.
2 or 3 days later, I saw a few egrets flying over the tea trees, and they ate the caterpillars one after another. Within 2 weeks, the caterpillars all vanished. At that moment, I felt very grateful towards Mother Nature. How wonderful the natural ecosystem is.
Then Chen has learned that following the course of nature is the most effective solution.
Every creature has its necessity and purpose for living in this world. As we carry out organic farming, we need to first respect all wildlife.
Giving space to wildlife also helps plants grow.
When worms grow in the soil, they turn the soil fluffier and softer. As the soil turns fluffy and soft, it can easily retain water. And when the soil turns porous, it contains a higher level of oxygen.
With the porous and watery soil, Chen's tea trees will certainly grow up healthy. Whether in the rain, Chen spreads fertilizer prior to the upcoming winter harvest.
In the winter, bacteria attaches on the leaves, so we use the enzyme and watery fertilizer to wash it off.
The formula of Chen Zhongho's fertilizer is not a chemical compound you can find in the market.
This organic fertilizer contains a lot of amino acids. It helps generate catechin and tea polyphenols so the tea will taste sweet.
Other than practicing organic farming, Chen also insists on using vegetarian fertilizer.
After using animal fertilizers for many years, the soil of this land begins to lack certain micronutrients. Only when we replenish the soil with these micronutrients will the quality of our tea leaves improve as a result.
Chen's tea leaves absorb the essence of the earth and possess the most natural tea flavor.
After years of organic farming, this tea field has returned to its original state and form.
Living in harmony with nature has been Chen Zhongho's principle in his organic tea business. From hand-picked green tea in the spring to oolong tea during the winter, his enthusiasm and compassion will continue to benefit himself and the land around him.
Also in Taiwan, Keelung Tzu Chi volunteers organized their year-end blessing ceremony last weekend at the Keelung Cultural Center. This year, the volunteers put on the story of former K recipient Liu Ruiqiang, who used to be a lost soul, yet today has become a Tzu Chi volunteer, helping more people like himself.
Today's performance centers around the story of Liu Ruiqiang, who used to be addicted to the good life. The volunteers' realistic performance once again reminds Liu of his past mistakes.
When I watched the play, I felt like I was back in the old days. So I reminded myself not to repeat those past mistakes.
Next, a video plays the story of volunteer Liu and Ahan. Thanks to Liu's care and love, Ahan's life has changed for the better. Today, he is here to say his thanks to Tzu Ji.
I want to be like the Tzu Ji brothers and sisters. I want to learn their spirit, which is also Master Zheng Yan's Dharma.
Every year, countless members of the public attend Tzu Ji's year-end blessing ceremonies.
Although I'm a Christian, I like the Tzu Ji Foundation very much. I often share Tzu Ji's philosophy with my church friends.
Prior to the year-end blessing ceremony, the volunteers spend extra hours in planning and rehearsal so that everything will be perfect before the final presentation.
When we were doing a rehearsal, sometimes we will improvise to make the performance more attractive.
This year, volunteer Zhou Shuyun is once again the chief coordinator of the event.
Through dramas and other programs, we try to present the beauty of Tzu Ji to audience members.
This is the third year Tzu Ji volunteers in Keelung are holding their year-end blessing ceremony at the Keelung Cultural Center. Nevertheless, the decoration of the venue has been far from easy.
The problem of this venue is that you cannot do the prep work on site. You cannot bring water or use adhesive either.
However difficult it is, organizing such events, the increasing number of the attendees has made volunteers feel all their efforts are worthwhile.
Moving to Hong Kong at the DaAi Tzu Ji recycling station, Tzu Ji volunteers recently taught a group of children how to properly sort recyclables into the right categories, allowing them to gain new knowledge as well as hands-on experience. Let's take a look.
For this young recycling team, taking apart old videotapes is a new and refreshing task. Not only do the children enjoy the activity, but it also teaches them the importance of recycling.
There are so many things in the world that can be recycled. Things I never imagined. If not recycled, these items end up in garbage dumps, so people should not be wasteful.
Today, Tzu Ji volunteers are teaching these little bodhisattvas tips on recycling, turning the DaAi recycling station into a mini education booth.
Every year we bring these children here to visit because from an educational standpoint, by doing it themselves, they can learn and experience much more than they would from just books.
50 adorable children attentively listen to the recycling needs of their local community and learn how they can make a difference.
The children are very happy. Hong Kong is not very strict on recycling, so we only have to separate our recyclables into 3 categories. I never knew there were so many ways to separate our recyclables until I came here.
Through this educational experience, each child has become a guardian for Mother Earth, making a small difference in the world, one recyclable at a time.
We go to the United States at the end of our show. Prior to Christmas, Tzu Ji volunteers in Phoenix, Arizona held a distribution for low-income households to get them ready to celebrate the coming holiday. While in Orange County, Southern California, Tzu Ji volunteers were invited by the local food bank to help pack food supplies for those in need. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.